I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Yeah, Halloween this week goes Thursday, and the temperature has changed for Thursday. There was some flurry activity in the forecast, but I was looking ahead. Sunny and 5 degrees during the day. It'll cool off at night, of course, as it always does, but there's a good chance if you haven't picked up your Halloween treats yet, it could be a big night for the kids out because of that +5.
Yeah. So are you saying to plan for that, Joe? Maybe plan for a little more I mean, we know you're always ready with the Halloween candy.
I was out there for a walk with my dog and, of course, Christy, and I had that discussion about my Halloween anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, do we have enough chocolate bars? And she goes, we've already been through this. And I said, but do we have enough? And
a man needs reassurance.
She goes, if you want to buy more, do like you do every other year. Just buy them and keep them in your vehicle. Pretend I don't know that they're
knows.
there. Yep.
I love that. Yeah,
we had 150 kids last year. That was double from the year before. Now I really have anxiety.
And with the forecast, yeah, that's really going to be a help for a lot of kids getting out.
Yeah, I is it weather related? I guess.
I think so.
If it's super
Part
cold,
of it.
You'll back off some of the older kids for sure who are like on the fence. I was bugging my 12-year-old. 12-year-old? You 14? Yeah, 12-year-old. I forget how old the two of them are, but I was bugging him. Are you guys going out this year? Oh yeah. So I said, be respectful at the door. Put costumes on. Don't be jerks. You know, you get the teenagers rolling around out there. Sorry, he's 13. He's 13. But you get the teenagers out there, and they come to your door, and they're like not dressed up.
Yeah.
They got hoodies on, trick or treat.
Yeah, for sure.
Is this his last year of trick-or-treating?
He hasn't made that announcement yet, so I don't know, but I figure it should be one of these years.
I think the weather affects the younger kids even more because it's the parents that are walking them around, and if it's too cold, they're not out there very long, right? They might hit a few houses with their little plastic pumpkin container.
Well, and it affects the costumes. Like,
yes.
Like as a kid, I remember like hating having to put a snowsuit on underneath the costume because it just made you look, just more like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for
fuller.
sure.
It's just that extra layer.
Bulky, yeah.
Oh, look at you. What are you, a snowsuit? No, I have a costume on.
It's Halloween in Manitoba, baby. So, yeah, Thursday, we'll be yapping about that throughout the week. I'll tell you what, the bone phone is packed. It's happy today. It's mostly happy.
Wow.
And
I'll take it to start off the week.
A theme of a great time to be a Winnipeg sports fan. We'll get to that at 10. Of course, who the hell is that at the bottom of the hour?
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Call the Bone Phone, 780-BONE. Brought to you by Auto Gallery of Winnipeg.
So I just moved back into Charleswood over the last weekend, and I discovered that Wilkes is now in a 70 zone. So someone make this make sense to me. So in the city, on Sterling Lawn, you can go 80, but for some reason, once you get out onto the actual highway part of that, you have to go 70. Someone make that make sense. This is the most town in all of Canada.
Well, it's changed. And this came into play last week. That's my area. So Kenniston, Sterling Lion, which becomes Wilkes, is now 70 from Kenniston going west till you get closer to the end, closer to the perimeter, and it goes to 80. So they reduced it by 10 from 90 to 80 in parts and then 80 to 70 in parts. And you're going to have to be careful around there because you know what happens when they change and they put up the new signs. They wait a while, give people a chance, and then you're going to start getting dinged. So
They
if
don't
you're going
usually-
west,
They don't usually wait very long
No.
before they start dinging.
it's been a week since those new signs went up. So 70 flips to 80 as you get closer to the perimeter.
So confusing. And you wonder why people just drive 50 around this town.
You know what? I'll be honest, though. Them changing the speed, and I use that street all the time, you really haven't noticed too much because most people weren't going 80 anyway.
Yeah, driving.
They were
yeah.
going slower. So
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, been a while. I mentioned this off air since we've heard from anybody involved in the Bob Bird Mafia.
Yo, what's shaking? Happy Monday, Winnipeg. Bombers getting that game November 9th. Woo! How about them Jets, 8-0? That O is going to go tonight, people. They got the big bad Maple Leafs in town tonight. Number 34 is due for a breakout hat-trick game. Shout out to Tummy Ache Timmy, didn't make it in again. And how about that old Bobby Burt shifting gears, spilling rocks here in your yard? Let's go, boys! Woo!
Okay.
Spilling rocks in
yeah.
your yard.
Bob Bird has left the Mafia.
That's right. To
right.
go do what? Gravel transportation?
Yeah, well, you just heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Listen, by the way, that Jets game against Toronto tonight was they had the sold out sign on the game. Email went out yesterday that there was very limited tickets left. So if you are looking, and Leafs fans travel well, as we know, so it'll be an interesting environment in the barn tonight. But
Yeah, anytime there's an original 6 team, especially Leafs or Habs, you're going to get lots of Leafs fans.
And the game is only on Amazon Prime. People have been asking us on the Boston Pizza text line, if you do not have Amazon Prime, you're going to have to get out to a watering hole to check it out. And a few places are advertising that they'll show the game. So,
That's going to work a few people up for sure.
yeah.
Okay, the mechanic.
Hello, it's the mechanic calling again. This one's for the hooligan. Hooligan, I totally agree with you with regards to Sobeys and Safeway speed bumps. I don't know why they got to make them so big that you lose your Tim Hortons coffee right out of its coffee cup when you even slowly go over the speed bump. It's a little ridiculous if you ask me, but once again, we all have to walk as slow as our slowest person as a society. Anyway, Billy Joe and Kirby, enjoy the show immensely. I get a good laugh every morning. It really makes my day. And have a good one, and keep up the good work. Take care.
Hey, thank you very much, mechanic.
Yeah,
very
thank
nice
you.
call. Now I'm going to rattle off 3 straight calls about just what an amazing time it is to be a Winnipeg sports fan.
Hey guys, Joe here. That was the best ending of a Bomber game I've ever seen in my life. I guess Mother Nature likes the Bombers. Take care, guys. Go Jets, go.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little more this morning, the ending of that Bomber game.
Well, it is a fantastic Sunday morning right now, listening to Howard crushing the Sunday morning resurrection. Massive Bomber victory last night with the massive wind. Pushed Montreal back. Castillo goal, kicking the field goal to win it. Clinch the West. Yes! Jets 8-0. Wowzers! Woo! What a great day to wake up and make some OT. Yeah!
And who better to wrap these calls up than the one and the only guilty?
Morning, guys. Philly, I know it's Sunday and you are looking at every email / boner that comes through. But, okay, Bo, yesterday it was a good day to be a Winnipeg Blue Bomber Jet fan. 8-0 for the Jets and the wind. The wind, we got to come up with a name for the wind. The Winnipeg Wind. The Windy City. We got to get it out there. Come on, let's come up with something. I'll brainstorm, and, who knows? I'll try not to swear in between. But
Oh, yeah.
that. No, let's think of it. What is it? What was it? Peace out.
That big gust of wind that screwed up that Montreal punt.
I'll tell you right now, if that was the Grey Cup, it would have a moniker. 'Cause
Yeah.
that would be a historic night. Getting you to the Western Final, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know if it gets more than that because if you talk to Coach and everybody else, it's just, hey, we're on to the next now.
Another brick.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was a crazy
that
game.
Wind, unbelievable.
Let's wrap with Lisa. And if we know one thing about Lisa, it's that she loves Halloween.
Anyway, I thought of a costume for a little kid if you're on a low budget. I don't have a kid. Anyway, use the reusable Dollarama bag and put it over top. So, the thing, put a little hole so the kid could put the head through. And then put a little green helmet or something, or a green toque. And then green shoes. Yeah. Anyway, happy cheers to you. And I'm drinking coffee and I'm reading the paper. Yeah, I'm boring.
Mm-hmm. No, you're never boring, Lisa. So would it be like a Martian? Or like did she just a green recycling bag and then a green hat?
It's just an idea for a costume if you're running last minutes. You need some ideas.
But what are you? You have to. Everybody's going to ask you what you are.
You're a Dollarama item. I guess.
The best is when you got to describe to people what you are.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Hi.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Curbs, you may have missed this last week, but remember when I was complaining about wearing a suit and my wallet's too fat for my suit?
Yeah.
And like, what do I do? Where do you put the wallet? Where do you put the phone? Because suits in 2024 are a lot slimmer than they used to be. And you start looking for places and you just, it's just hard. I find it difficult. So Joe mentioned, well, you got to travel light. That was his advice because he wears a lot more suits than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Look what he brought me in. He goes with and we're only less than 2 months from Christmas. He gives me one of these sleek little
What can I see?
wallets.
Someone had called in and said you have to get one of those wallets that pop up the credit cards, and
Your stuff's already in here.
And Phil said, well, you don't have to look through his wallet.
You can give me my wallet back. Starts diving through it.
You were the pension hunter, not wallet hunter. Remember?
I was just trying to figure out how it works.
Well, you hit this and look at all the cards pop out.
Okay, that's what you hit. Okay.
Is that amazing? Thank you, Joe.
Wow,
yes. Well,
that's
you
so
do.
Nice.
You do a lot of extra things for me around here.
I'm still
with
owing
technology
to you, trust me. But no, thank you. It was, my kids were.
You needed one.
They were rooting through this. They love it more than I like it, but they love it more than I do. My boys, they're like, "Whoa, Dad!" Because I hadn't transferred my fat wallet over to the slim wallet yet.
Right.
And my youngest, especially, is like, "Could I transfer your stuff, Dad? This wallet is awesome."
That's great. Did you explain to them both that they're already costly with the credit card that's inside that wallet?
I did. I told them, leave that cash alone that's in there, okay, boys? I know you want all Dad's money. But random gifts, only Joe.
Yeah, well, that's what he's good for.
Really?
That's it.
I don't do it a lot.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
As all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the wind cranks up like crazy, and the flags are completely twisting, and we're getting essentially a snow shower of leaves, like a leaf tornado just came over the top of Mount Royal. And this could completely change the kick, and it's a sidewinder. It got into Zima's head, and it kicks out of bounds. Wow. That wind came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and we're getting suggestions on the Boston Pizza text line, 762-555, the breath of God. I don't know why God is suddenly a Bomber fan, but apparently God kicked up that storm. Also, the Bomber breeze is coming up.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was stronger than a breeze if you were watching that game. I have no idea, outside of the fact that the game really didn't mean much for Montreal, why they didn't call a timeout. Like, that wind just came out of nowhere just before that kick. Mm-hmm. And you knew the kick wasn't going to go. It'd be like a golf game, and the wind picks up when you're on the tee box and you just pull away for a minute. They could have called a timeout, I assume, but they didn't. Anyway, it led to our good fortune. But the Bombers' social media team's been having fun with it. They the hashtag for the win became hashtag for the wind. And also that they signed Mother Nature to a one-day contract, which is good stuff.
Too good.
I'm just saying, there's lots of football left to be played, lots of big games, lots of close games left. But man, would it be something if we look back if we look back on that gust of wind with the leaves and the blown punt that led to the winning field goal.
Hasn't it been a weird season, though? We start 0-4. You end up 11-7. You win the Western Final after you could have wrapped it up the week before. But this gust of wind comes in, and then Castillo kicks a 51-yard field goal for the win. And here we are going to be hosting the Western Final in a couple of weeks against the two teams, one of them, that you kind of figured it was going to happen. It was either going to be Saskatchewan or BC. So that's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
And the Grey Cup will be a great game because the East has been as strong as they've ever been.
Sure. I mean, look, the wind is the story from that game and the Bombers clinching the West. But of concern for me, and I'm just going to be completely honest, is how the Bombers seem to struggle against these Eastern powerhouse teams. That's 2 weeks in a row. I mean, Montreal put Fajardo on a bench, halfway through the third quarter, and we still had to have that miracle at the end of the game to get that win in a must-win situation for us. Kirby, the week before we lose to the Argos, like those Eastern teams give us a lot of trouble.
Their backup quarterback is actually very good in Montreal, too.
Yeah.
He played, he's got 4 wins this season.
Okay. Jeez.
Kirby gave me that fact.
Yeah. No, I'm riding high like most Winnipeggers right now. The fact that we got the Jets on a high, we got the Bombers on a high.
Yes, and one more giant playoff party this season at I almost said IGF, at Princess Auto Stadium. Like that's the best news to come out of the weekend.
That will be a long weekend for many, too, because Remembrance Day falls on the Monday that weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's like right around the corner, too.
So let's hope for decent weather going into that part of November here because, if it is BC by chance, they play indoors. Saskatchewan, that's a different story, and the Jets game that night, which gets a lot of people out to both, too.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a big party on the 9th in this town.
Gotta be a limo. We say it every time this happens. Why would you not get a limo and go to both?
I'll tell you what, you got rapid transit. The city put it in play, too, eh?
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to PJK Extra, Philly Joe and Kirby, the podcast. Today, we haven't done this in a while, to be totally honest. What are you watching? Where the three of us talk about some TV, some movies, whatever it is has piqued our interest of late. I'll go first because I actually have a show right now that has started off kind of slow. Where you get into a show and you're like the show didn't start slow, but I was like, let me see. I don't know how hooked I'm going to get on this, but I'll try it because it's getting, rave reviews and a lot of buzz. And that's The Penguin with Colin Farrell as the Penguin. This show jumps in after the Robert Pattinson Batman movie. So it jumps on the end of that, and it's like the Penguin's origin story. And let me tell you, I am hooked. It is fantastic. I am all in on this show.
That's next on my list.
Oh, you're going to try it out, eh? You might like it.
Well,
real
and it's got
gangster
that
feel.
gangster kind of feel. Speaking of that, I'm watching Tulsa King right now, season 2, and it's good. It's a little hokey because Sylvester Stallone, like some of the jokes in it, but it's an easy watch. But I started watching Bookie. Sebastian Maniscalco, who was in town, we had him on the show here. I wanted to watch his show. It's on Max in the States, so finally Crave has picked it up. It's fantastic. It's a great little comedy about gambling and these two guys and waiting for, L.A. to go legit with gambling. It's pretty dark and pretty funny. So Bookie is the new one for me.
Now, Kirby, before we get to what you're watching, you did Tulsa King too, right?
Yeah, the first season. I haven't jumped on the second season yet. It's on my list to do. But every time I see that Colin Farrell Penguin picture pop up on Crave, I always think about how long that guy probably sat in makeup.
Oh my, yeah.
Because the amount of like reconstruction to his face and everything is just so crazy. Like he's a brilliant character. I want to watch that even.
It's good. And the acting quality in the series is so good. Like it's got me now because it's a week-to-week thing, right? Where I'm like, and I actually have one to watch now today, so I'm excited.
This dropped over the weekend, and I binged it all 3 episodes. The Myth of the Zodiac Killer on Netflix.
Oh.
Obviously, like the Zodiac was like an infamous serial killer back in the day, and it's the one case that has never been solved. Well, not the one, but one notorious cases that has gone unsolved. Although this documentary pretty much it makes it hard to believe that the guy they paint isn't the actual killer.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I would check that out. Also, for both of you, because I think all 3 of us would like this. I saw a trailer for an upcoming movie. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. It's called September 5th, and it's the movie is going to be about, you'll remember the 1972 Munich Olympics, the hostage taking of the Israeli athletes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And the movie dives into how sports broadcasters were thrust into covering what was a news story. And I encourage you to check out the trailer because it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I saw that and I'm like, ooh, I'll have to see that when it comes out.
And what's it called again?
It's called September 5th.
Okay, awesome.
I don't even know any
so long ago, too, 1972. You know, all we've seen is highlights of the Munich Olympics, right? Like,
All right, so that's what we're watching. That's the PJK Extra.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Word just came to us that that double dip on Saturday, November 9th, the Jets game has been moved up to 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Breaking news.
And then the Bomber game kickoff will be at 5:30. It's usually the other way around. It used to be the Bomber game in the afternoon, then you'd get the Jets game at night, but obviously TV would come into place. So 2 o'clock Jets, 5:30 Bombers.
So you can do them both.
Yeah.
Kirby, let's see the silk cap.
Yeah.
Woo! Here you go.
Last week we were giving away Shoppers.
I washed it. It's right out of the dryer this morning.
Yeah.
That was your picked item with our Shoppers Drug Mart Prices Right contest.
Phil joked about wanting to keep his hair intact while he slept.
Yeah. And Kirby, good on you. Like,
you're not going to put it on for
full
me.
effort. She as if I really wanted a silk cap.
Well, I just thought maybe you would want to try it on. It's got an adjustment strap here.
And really wanted to try one on and really wanted to wear one. I got to give you full marks. You washed yours up. I'm going to bring my silk cap in for Phil to try on.
Yeah.
As if I really wanted this thing.
How long do they last? Is it like a one-shot deal, these silk caps?
No. And it's reversible too. Like if I wanted it like this.
Just in case
like
somebody
this.
in your house is going, why do you always wear this black cap? Wow, you fooled me. It's pink today.
It's pink. I mean,
when you go out shopping, would you wear that out?
Absolutely not.
No,
this is just sleeping, Joe.
Help
it's a
me with
sleeping
this.
Cap.
Help me with this. It's for if you do your hair at night and you don't want it to be ruined for the next morning, you put on a sleeping cap?
Yes. Like, pretend my hair is like curly, and then you put this little thing on here.
Mm-hmm. That looks
good. Like a shower cap.
Yeah, it is.
You got to tuck all your hair, and it's not the most attractive looking thing here.
You look like Samuel L. Jackson wearing one of his Congo hats.
And then you have to sleep with it like this, and sometimes it comes off in the night. You know, you got to make sure you got to make sure it's tight on your cranium.
I bet it comes off at night, boy. That's a sexy look.
I'm not gonna lie, I would never wear that if I had a guest.
It's got a
because you're right, Joe. There is nothing more attractive than me wearing this.
It's got a Little House on the Prairie look as well, like that.
Like I'm about to churn butter.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like. You know what that'd be good for? A bottle of a Crown Royal. It looks like one of those velvet
gift
sacks.
bag. I've got a visual of Joe with his sleep apnea machine,
and that on
Kirby with her silk cap on.
Boy, we are an attractive group that sleeps.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay, but thanks for bringing it in. Yeah.
Well, it was just happened to be in the laundry pile, and I thought I'd bring it in for a laugh.
In the laundry pile, straight for Philly to try on. And
just in case,
I'm good. I'm good on trying on the silk cap.
I'm glad.
We appreciate
I'm glad you're okay.
Joe, you want to throw it on real quick?
That thing's not going to fit my head.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
92.1 City, Winnipeg's rock station, Philly Joe and Kirby. Sorry, Curbs.
You're almost as bad as Starbucks on my cup sometimes. Corby. We got an order for Corby?
Corby! And they say it nice and loud, too. Question for you two. Does guilty, and this just came in on the bone phone, and I want to play it now because a lot of people are buzzing on the Boston Pizza text line about the Jets-Leafs only being available on Amazon Prime tonight.
Right.
So does he speak for a lot of Winnipeggers with this call?
Okay, really? Jets are going for the record and we can't watch it if we don't have Amazon Prime? That. Joe, you got to phone your buddy. He's a chipman.
Joe.
Like, why is the would that be, like, they're going for the record? What, I got to get a ticket and drive in from the country? Come on, boys.
What?
This has to change. We can't have Jeff Bezos decide if we watch the game.
Well,
like, really? Sorry, I was yelling.
Bezos.
Like, I just told the wife, I guess we're getting Amazon Prime. Well, we don't watch it. What for? I said, obviously, for hockey.
Yeah, Joe.
That Bezos.
Well, it has nothing to do with the Jets or the organization. This has everything to do with broadcasting rights. So
Call your buddy Chipman. Joe, I love that. He
I
starts the
said
call.
Joe's gonna. I do that to Joe too sometimes when I'm up in arms over something. Like Joe, like
take care of this.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff Bezos' number I don't have. Couldn't even DM him, I think. Anyway, that's the deal on Monday nights. They have bought, Amazon Prime has bought the rights to Monday Night Hockey on a national level. This is a national game. And, if you don't have Amazon Prime, listen, there's a lot of places in the city that will be showing it, and I'm sure outside the city because Guilty lives in the Gimli area. But you might want to check with your local watering hole if you don't have Amazon Prime. But you know what? The conversation for me and my friends was most people have it just because they order packages.
We have it.
So it wasn't even, they weren't buying it for hockey. They were buying it for that. Now this is just a bonus. But
I'm also sure. Sorry, Phil.
No,
that, you can get it for like I don't know. Like there's a period where you get it for free though. Like if you sign up.
Yeah, trial,
you
free
get
trial.
the free trial. So if you just want the game tonight,
go to that tonight.
Just do the trial and then unsubscribe.
Can you do me a favor, Curbs?
Yeah.
Either you or Joe. So
you want to use my Amazon Prime?
No, I already have.
I'm busy trying to get a hold of Bezos for Guilty. I got no time for this. What are you asking me to do?
What do you need there, Philly?
Daryl Aubrey's going to phone me at about 6:33. I guarantee it.
Yes.
I have never been more sure of anything in my life because he'll be thinking about this game all day, and then he's going to say, "Where the hell is the game?" So can I?
You got to get your mom's name in there.
Can
too.
you?
I like when he yells, "Kath."
Kath.
Because she's going to know.
Yeah. Where's the game? I don't know. Call Phil. So can you guide my dad through this? Can I say, hey, Dad, I'm going to give you a phone number. What? And then can he call you and you guide him through getting this what is
the Amazon Prime setup?
Free trial.
The free trial.
Yeah, the free trial. I mean, I would be there for your dad.
You might have to go over there and walk him through it,
You know what? You're in Transcona. Why don't you drive them by the Amazon facility that they have set up there for the package pickups?
Do not go bother those poor people at the Amazon
and get them set up
facilities.
there. They got to have a nice foyer lobby area with the TV on to show the game, don't they?
Dad, go talk to them.
They should.
This is not customer support.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
I love that line. There's no use saying sorry.
Don't even bother.
Yeah, that's right. Some things you screw up sometimes, and there's just no use saying sorry.
Don't even waste your breath.
Mm-hmm.
But yet it'll keep coming back to bite you in the butt.
Yeah, if it's big enough.
Yep.
You'll hear about it every fight.
Yep.
Philly Joe and Kirby, 92.1 City. It's Aussie week, by the way.
Yeah, nice.
Ooh.
Nice spotlight.
That's gonna kick ass. And we keep getting these requests on the bone phone for different bands, different artists that we have to feature. And trust me, they're all coming because this is going over like gangbusters, man. These feature weeks. So if there's someone you want to hear, whether it's Maiden, Judas Priest, we're getting all kinds of requests. Don't worry, you'll eventually hear it.
You should also know the text line, sorry to interrupt, about who the hell is that? Great contest we have running, $7,400 in the pot. There's always new people tuning in for it. And you can keep an eye on what's going on our website, too, if you want to see the missed guesses. That's coming up at 8:30, by the way.
Mm-hmm. We had a wrong guess at 6:30 this morning, very early. Man, it's a crazy week. Crazy week around here because Halloween Thursday and then a time change.
Yep, Sunday. So Saturday night when you head to bed, you fall back 1 hour. So bring it back an hour. Enjoy that sleep.
Well, and how crazy is it that, the end of October.
Mm-hmm.
We've had such a nice fall.
It has been wonderful. It really, we can't complain about the weather we've had.
No.
When fall.
A little windy on occasion, but temperature-wise, pretty good. Now it drops, after tomorrow. We get out of double digits, and the highs are going to be somewhere around 6, 5, 6, that kind of thing.
How are the lows?
-2 to -7.
Phil, in life, there's going to be some highs and there's going to be some lows. And you know what? You just got to ride them out, my friend.
Is that on your Instagram selfie today? Joe, I haven't seen it yet. I know you dropped a heart on it. You mentioned it.
Oh, my God. I almost didn't get a chance to take the selfie because Joe is harassing me from both.
Yeah, harassing would be the word I would use, yes.
You're like, oh, yeah, better get the angle in there today.
It's amazing because what happens is we're sitting here in the room and, you take a breather from working, I guess, and all of a sudden someone is playing with the bangs of her hair.
Fluffing it
down and going, and she goes, I'm taking a selfie. And I said, yeah, because I've never seen that happen before. Yes. And she said, you're just looking for the right angle. And I just take it a step back, and maybe just because I'm a little older going, why would we even need to take a selfie today? But that's okay.
Because today is a selfie day, Joe.
I understand.
Every
you look fantastic,
a selfie day,
right?
I think, isn't it?
That means you feel good. You feel good. You look great, right? You feel good about yourself. Why else would you take a selfie?
It's a good way to start the week, the last week of October.
Yeah.
But how many days a week? Honestly, I'm just asking. Is it 4 days, 3 days? Depends how you're feeling.
It depends how I'm feeling.
Okay.
It's at least 2, 3 a week. Safe selfies for sure. I never take any.
Was there a slogan attached to today's?
No. It was just
a vibe.
It was just I don't know how even somebody thinks about that.
When
I've got too much going on in my head, I guess. I don't know.
You don't think I got to stop what I'm doing right now and take a photo so the mass people can see what I look like today?
If I was to do a quick survey about this right now on the Boston Pizza text line, I am thinking right now that there is somebody working, let's say, on a vehicle right now that isn't putting down the drill going, you know what, winter tire exchange
I could
right
never
now.
do that job.
I feel pretty good. I look pretty good. I'm taking a selfie. I don't know how many people at work.
Let's get that in.
How many are taking a selfie this morning?
Well, I'm going to say the people who are hardworking.
Or not. You don't have to be hardworking.
You could be working in any job.
It's true.
I don't think you're sitting there and the first thing popping in your head is, hey, I feel pretty good.
Let's go
with
this.
Selfie.
Let's go with this. Boston Pizza text line right now, 762-555. How many selfies do you take in a week?
Hot dog guy just said he pulled over to take a selfie.
Well, that's
good
the
on
safe
you.
thing to do.
He probably looks pretty good today. That's one in your favor.
Oh my
You
Lord.
got one vote. You're off to a good start.
Yes.
He's not even at work. He's just maybe he is. He's a driver, right?
He's a driver.
Okay, so he
Yes.
is working. Okay, hot dog guy. That's one for Kirby.
What's that guy doing on the side of the road? Oh, he's taking a selfie. I understand.
0 to 1 per month,
my
Beavis. Wow. Zero. Kirby has issues.
Yes, he does.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Just reviewing the Boston Pizza text line here. I'd love to say that you are getting more support than you are, Kirby, as far as how many selfies do you take in a week was the question posed by Joe about 20 minutes ago in response to Kirby. At least 2 selfies a week, if not 3 or 4.
And this was at work, the specific at work. What would make you stop the job to say, wow, what an angle. If you were,
hey, Walt,
drywalling. Walt!
Hold my darts.
Walt, hold on a second. I'll tell you way the sunlight is working its way through this window, and I'm covered in drywall dust. If I don't take a selfie right now, and then... Let's be honest. There's guys at work sitting there going, I don't know what's going on, but Walt is sick and tired of me taking an extra break to take a selfie when I should be working. But, you and hot dog guy.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's the two.
This is my favorite response, though. Never, ever has it crossed my mind to take a selfie.
And there's like 50.
I'm realizing that there's just me. It's just me, I guess.
There's like 50 people who responded with 0.
Like,
I like this one because it was pretty fun. I just took one and maybe 6 a week. I'm trying to pump myself up for the day. That's awesome.
I went to work with my brother when I was back in Alberta visiting this summer for the day. He took me to work with him in his work truck and everything, and he had a hard hat. And I was just like, the first thing he says to me is like, you do not get out of the vehicle. You got to sit here, and that's where you got to stay. And you know what? I took a lot of selfies that day because if I was going to be working alongside, a hardworking man like him, I had to note it. I used the hard hat to make it look like I was working.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
No, you're a trickster sometimes with those selfies. I'm sure you fooled a lot of people that day by putting on that hard hat.
Look at me.
Hey, listen,
out of the rigs.
Your life is like one of those party photo booths I was at on Saturday where they have all these props. Like you just bring your props and, you know what? My brother's a hardworking guy, but somehow I'm going to make this about me and not take a picture of him working.
And everything that that is on her body is a prop. The
Yeah.
tattoos on her legs.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a photo booth.
Yeah.
You should open up your own company. The big glasses, the funny hats.
For more Philly, Joe, and Kirby, log it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.
I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.